My name is Paul Dumas. I'm the Executive VP and Director of Osisko Metals, and I'm going to try to keep this within the next 10 minutes, not to take up too much of your time. Why invest in Osisko Metals? We're an advanced exploration company with a lot of blue sky opportunity. We control two of the major zinc camps in Canada. One is Pine Point, located in Northwest Territories, and the other one is Bathurst, located in New Brunswick. On December 6, 2018, we issued a press release announcing our maiden resource inferred estimate. The estimate came out at 38.4 million tons, grading 6.58 zinc equivalent. That means that pertains to a 3.9 billion pounds of zinc and 1.6 billion pounds of lead. At Anacon, located in New Brunswick, it's our Bathurst flagship. We've converted the historical resources of 1.9 million tons, grading 9.5% zinc. Drilling is ongoing, confirming the historical resources and developing new zones. Right now, we have a solid balance sheet. We have zero debt with $20 million in the treasury. We're backed by a solid reputational team, which is the Osisko Group, very good technical expertise, and access to capital. The projects are located in friendly jurisdictions, just south of Slave Lake, the Pine Point camp in Northwest Territories, and the Bathurst camp in New Brunswick. I draw your attention to the right of the screen here to our board of directors that have a tremendous proven track record. Mr. Robert Ware is our executive chairman. He made the discovery of Canadian Malartic, 13 million ounces of gold open pit, along with Mr. John Brzezinski, who is now president of Osisko Mining. Luc Lasalle, president of Falco Resources, was the engineer in charge of building Canadian Malartic on time and on budget. Amy Satoff, Kathy Singer, both with legal expertise with Dundee Bancorp, and Claude Charon, tax expert working out of Montreal. Quickly, I'll touch base on our share capital. We have 136 million shares outstanding, but out of the 136 million shares outstanding, I want to draw your attention to the important shareholders that we have. Osisko Gold Royalties and Mining own a little over 19%. We have JP Morgan UK, almost 7%. Renvest, it's almost 6%. Zebra Holdings is a private holding company from Lucas Lundin. We have BlackRock, Caisse de Dépôt, and insiders for almost over 50% as we stand today. Our closing price, we're trading a 52-week low, pretty much like everybody in this industry. We have analyst coverage right now by three firms, Paradigm Capital, Canaccord Genuity, and Macquarie Capital Markets. We expect a couple more analysts covering the company shortly. We did a site visit in the fall of this year where we anticipate at least 2 or 3 more analysts coming on board. Why we're focusing on zinc, I won't touch too much on this, but obviously we're into a supply crunch right now. For the last 5 years, we've seen the zinc world inventories decline drastically. We're below right now what they call the critical level of 300,000 tons per day, which equates to about 10-day supply of zinc. Eventually, we're going to see the commodity price interact with the low inventories, world inventories. And we don't see too much of these inventories come back online. There's been a lot of mine closures, not too many mine closures coming back. There's been environmental policies put in place in China that has shut down a lot of zinc operations. China used to be a net exporter of zinc, and now they're a net importer. The Pine Point project is a high-grade open-pit zinc project, the only one in development amongst our peers right now in Canada. Like I mentioned earlier before, we have an inferred resource of 38.4 million tons, which equates to 5.5 billion pounds of metal in the ground. Usually the analysts put a price to the pounds of metal in the ground. If you put 5 cents a pound, that equates to about $270 million worth of value. If you look at the slide that we had earlier on, and you figure out our enterprise value, we have $20 million in the bank. We paid $34 million for that asset, and today it's worth $270 million. So there's a disconnect between the price of the equity and the value of the asset. Pine Point has excellent infrastructure. It has access to paved roads, has access to electrical substation, There's over 100 kilometers of haul roads that are 25 meters wide, connecting the deposits within the property. There's railhead that's 47 kilometers from the property, which connects Hay River, which is the hub of the north. We have a district scale exploration upside potential at depth on this property. The majority of the drilling that's been done on this property from Caminco and us historically is no deeper than 75 meters, and we know the mineralization extends to 300 meters. If we were to put this project into production, we'd have extremely high margins, and I'll show you a little bit more in detail in the next slide. This gives you a visual location of the property. You can see it's pretty immense. It's about 60 kilometers long by 30 kilometers wide. We've been focusing on 4 areas so far, which is the East Mill Zone, Central Zone, North Zone, and the West Zone. It's a unique high-grade open pit zinc project. Osisko Metals, Pine Point, measured resource estimate is a high-grade ore deposit. If we were to put this into production, it would be equivalent of producing a 2.5% copper open pit operation, or equivalent to a 3-gram gold per ton operation. So highly profitable. Zinc mining is unique amongst the metal sector. 90% of the gold production is open pit. 95% of the copper production is open pit. 90% of the zinc operation is underground. This is why Pine Point is unique amongst its peers. We have excellent regional infrastructure. This gives you an idea of the infrastructure on site. Like as I mentioned earlier before, we're about 42, 45 kilometers from Hay River. Hay River is the hub of the north that feeds all the diamond mines. Access to railhead there. The Central Zone contains the electrical substation. This gives you an idea of the haul roads that are there, excellent infrastructure. If we were going to rebuild the infrastructure at Pine Point, it would cost us in the vicinity between $200 and $225 million. This gives you an idea of the access to the rail system within Canada. We could haul our concentrate either to Flin Flon or Trail, or have access to international markets. What to expect for 2019? We're going to be running an airborne gravity survey, which will complement the existing compilation of historical data. We hope that this will be able to identify additional prismatics and additional mineralization. It's a process or an approach that's never been used at the Pine Point camp, and we know it extends 60 kilometers by 30 kilometers, so the potential of having additional mineralization within the property is highly. We're going to follow up these targets with the drill program. We expect to do between 30 and 50,000 meters at Pine Point this year. A portion of the drilling will be to drill the inferred resources to indicated, and the balance of drilling will be for these existing brownfield targets. Quickly, to touch base on the Bathurst camp. We own 63,000 hectares and the 3rd largest VMS in the world. Bathurst was host to the Brunswick mine number 12 and number 6, where it produced over 150 million tons, grading 12.5% zinc. It was the largest underground mine for 50 years. We've just completed a 50,000-meter drill program. 35,000 meters of that was benchmarked for the Anacon project, which is now our flagship within the property. Anacon was owned historically by a private family for 70 years. It was mothballed for the last 40, so no exploration has been done on that property, or very little bit of exploration. It contains a historical resource of 1.9 million tons, grading 9.5% zinc lead equivalent. And the targets remain open at depth and on strike. This gives you just an idea that infrastructure is primary for any base metal project. Here at Bathurst, we have all the infrastructure that's necessary. We have the roads, the electricity, and we also have access to a deep sea port that runs 365 days a year. This gives you an idea of our footprint within the Bathurst mining camp. We hold 63,000 hectares there. Our focus is to the right of this slide here, which is Anacon. We acquired Anacon in December of 2017. We've been compiling data on that property for the first 6 months of 2018, and since then we've been drilling on it since the beginning of June of this year with some tremendous results. The nice thing about Anacon, it's situated at the same stratigraphic horizon as the Brunswick number 12 and number 6. The main historical resource of 1.9 million tons, we've confirmed that this year by drilling through the heart of the property, obtaining some fantastic results that we'll see on the following slide. The 2018 drilling confirmed the high-grade core of the main zone, and we continue to drill on the Titan zone, which is 1.5 kilometers to the northeast of the main zone. The Titan zone remains open, on strike, and at depth as well. This is a cross-section of the main zone where we intercepted 12% zinc lead over 46 meters. That was through the heart of the property. And now we've kept on doing some step outs, so we see it's open at depth and on strike, so still a lot of potential on the main zone here. For the Titan zone, we've continued to confirm some of the drilling that Rio Algam did in 1992, where they intercepted almost 20 meters at 11.5% zinc. This property is open at depth to 1.1 kilometers, and what we see to the right of the slide here is a huge copper zone that we believe is the copper feeder zone that is hosting the mineralization at the Titan zone. So we're continuing to drill this property. For our objectives for some of our milestones for 2019, we'll be continue drilling at Pine Point to 50,000 meters to move the asset from inferred to indicated and drill some of the brownfield targets that we have identified. We'll continue to drill also the Anacon asset. Like I mentioned before, it remains open and on strike. New zones continue to discover the target, and we're going to establish a resource there by the end of Q2 2019. We have filed an application to graduate from the TSX Venture Exchange to the Toronto Stock Exchange, as well as the OTCQX. We believe that graduating to these two exchanges is going to provide us additional exposure and more liquidity to our stock. We're going to have an aggressive exploration program in Quebec on our Gen X properties, where we've budgeted $10 million. We have a joint venture in Quebec with Osisko Mining for the Lebel Quevillon property. We're well capitalized to deploy our exploration programs for 2019. And as I mentioned before, we're presently trading at a 52-week low, extremely undervalued. We published on Friday night, filed on CDAR, our complete 43-101 report detailing our mineral resource for Pine Point. So it's accessible for everybody right now. Monday morning, we'll have a press release pertaining to that filing. Thank you very much for your time.